What is the funniest place to visit during spring break?
Let's see. I don't know. What is the best place to visit?
Funniest.
The funniest to visit.
The mountains, because they're hill areas. I got one more. What do you call a pair of monkeys who share an Amazon account?
I don't know.
Primates.
That one is good. I like that one. Anyway, this is Don.
And this is Gina with Focused Healthy Family, here for another Tuesday Tips for Parents.
And today's Tuesday Tips comes from a book by Mike Collins called Caregiver 101, 101 Ways to Keep Caregiving from Making You Crazy. In his book, Mike Collins suggests when dealing with anger to try these 3 R's: relax, reflect, redirect. First, slow down and relax when you feel yourself getting hot under the collar. You might want to remember the 5-5-5 rule. Will this matter in 5 minutes, 5 weeks, or 5 years? Then reflect on the situation and ask yourself if you are so stressed that you are blowing this out of proportion. Finally, redirect your thoughts and emotions. Can you seek information and guidance to help you solve your problems? Can you laugh it off? Can you distract yourself by looking at something else, humming a tune or counting to 10? Can you seek some emotional release?
As I read this, I was thinking about when I was a kid, about 13, we had moved to a new area, and I joined the softball team. It's something I had done before, and I wasn't really enjoying it. It was a much more competitive team than I was used to. And a friend had invited me to a sleepover the same night as a practice. And I had a decision to make. And I chose the sleepover. And I'm thinking about this from a parent's perspective. You're the parent, and your kid wants to quit something or wants to choose one activity over another that you might not agree with. Does that matter in 5 minutes? Well, how you react in the moment, you know.
That does make a difference.
Dad, I really don't want to go to the practice. I'd rather go to my friend's house.
Well, and that's when things kind of flare up in your mind as a parent. Oh, they're going to ruin their life or whatever, some...
There can't be a quitter, right? So what can you do? We got to step away. Maybe we need to walk outside for a minute. Maybe we need to take a breath, whatever we need to do to calm ourselves down, right? The relax.
Mm-hmm.
What was the second R?
Reflect and redirect.
So reflect, Like I said, is this going to matter in 5 minutes? Are you going to turn this short conversation into an hour-long argument versus having an open discussion versus really practicing listening skills?
Yeah.
And will that matter in 5 weeks?
Well, not take it personally, This isn't your life that they're doing. This is their life.
That's a big thing. We got to remember that.
Yeah, because we tend to look and go, oh, they shouldn't do that because, look at what I did. Yeah.
So 5 weeks from now, your kid has another problem. Are they going to come to you with it? If you've yelled at them and scolded them or forced them to do something they didn't want to, what's going to happen 5 weeks down the road? Are they going to start to shut down and not share with you? Is it going to affect your relationship? Is it really going to matter, 5 weeks from now? And then looking ahead to 5 years.
Then it's a thought in the wind, basically,
Well,
or could be.
You could tell yourself, oh, once a quitter, always a quitter. They're going to just keep quitting everything and choosing fun over, dedication and commitment to a team. And yet, what's more important? Your relationship with your kid, their experience, them making a decision. And maybe they even later regret that decision, but we learn from these experiences. I know for myself, looking back on it, I kind of missed softball, but I was happy I hung out with my friends and knew it was a good decision for me not to continue and be part of this softball team. And 5 years later, I was in high school. I was in the marching band. I was participating in other activities. I wasn't a once a quitter, always a quitter.
Well, and I think about how in taking this into the sandwich generation and the other side of it, how when you're talking about your parents and their future, what they want to do and how they want to do it, they might not have the ideas that you think are right for them or And so it's another place for you to kind of step back and think about and reflect.
Sure. Maybe you really feel they're unsafe driving. Maybe they're having vision issues, their memory, you're really concerned. And you want to insist they don't drive, okay? So you let them take the keys. Will that matter in 5 minutes? Possibly. They could get in an accident. They could injure somebody else. There's kind of both sides of things, Maybe they're going to get mad at you and be really angry with you, yet preventing something serious from happening. Or maybe it's something silly, like they're arguing about something or imagining something that's not there, and you're trying to redirect them. And will that really matter? 5 minutes and 5 weeks. And if someone's having a delusion, a hallucination, or they think something's happening that's not, trying to just sit there and say, no, this is not true, and forcing that upon someone, especially with dementia, is really not going to help turn things around. Redirecting, refocusing, getting them involved in another thought and idea, or just letting it sit, can make a big impact on the future and your own sanity, right? How you handle caring for someone, whether it's a child or an aging parent. It affects you, and it's going to affect you down the road. How exhausted are you from these experiences? How overcommitted are you to something that is not truly your own to take on?
Well, like I say, it's what their future thoughts and plans are may not fit with what you think that should be. And so is that going to matter? Even in the case of how they want their end of life situation, maybe they want to be cremated and you are against or don't like that idea, but that's not your life. It's not how you want, it's how they do it, and honoring their wishes sometimes can be important.
And remembering the relationship.
Yeah.
Glad you've joined us today. This is airing in April, and April is Occupational Therapy Month. Be sure to check out our Ask the OT segments that we are doing live on our Facebook page, Focused Healthy Family, and ask your questions about caring for an aging loved one. Send them to us ahead of time. Join us on the call. It's going to be directly on our Facebook page.
And you can also find information about the Ask the OT on our website, focusedhealthyfamily.com.
And remember, how you speak to your kids today shapes their future and yours.